back to America's Forum. I'm J.D. Hayworth. Democrats trying a new tack to hold on to the Long Island congressional seat currently held by Tim Bishop, calling Bishop's opponent a coward. Now get this. Democrats are accusing an Iraq war veteran of being a coward, and not only that, they tweeted a picture photoshopped to make him look like the cowardly lion from The Wizard of Oz. Joining us now, Lee Zeldin, the Republican challenger running for that congressional seat in New York State. Lee, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you, Congressman. It's great to be on with you.
Now, Lee, the record shows you were deployed to Iraq in 2006 while assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division. We'd be remiss if we did not thank you for your service. And how are you responding to these attacks from the DCCC?
Well, I still serve as a Major in the Army Reserves. I've been in the military now between ROTC, active duty, and the reserves for just about half my life, and I love serving alongside some great Americans, and I really don't take too kindly to being called a coward. It's just not an appropriate name to be calling me, and I think it's very unfortunate when you see this kind of these desperate Hail Marys thrown in the first quarter of a game. They obviously know that this team's in trouble, and this is a new low.
Well, you see this, but what also, based on my own experience, and maybe you've heard this theory of the two parties, Lee, that the Republicans are the daddy party and the Democrats are the mommy party. And I don't know if we could actually call this a reinforcement of stereotypes, but that the Dems react emotionally, therefore they can engage in this type of rhetorical excess and never suffer from it on a national scale. Now, it may differ in this congressional race, given your bona fides and your experience wearing the uniform of this country, and also, quite frankly, the makeup now of New York's 1st congressional district. But they seem to be very strident in saying, yeah, we say it so because he's avoiding certain issues. In the final analysis, Lee, should the Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee, or DCCC, issue a collective apology to you?
I think, and not just, I think that they should be much more proactive in addressing this issue, because I think of other veteran candidates who are stepping up, who are thinking about stepping up, and we should actually be encouraging more people to run for office who have served. 40 years ago, 3/4 of Congress were made up of military veterans, and now that number is about 1 in 5. And I think it's important to send a strong message that we're actually encouraging veterans to step forward and serve. That's a good thing, especially with all the issues that are currently plaguing our VA system. We need more vets in Congress.
And speaking of the VA system, and sitting here, the old campaigner in me can't help but offer a little free advice. Tell your constituents when you go to Congress, if you so choose, and if they elect you, that you want to serve on the Veterans Affairs Committee, because this scandal continues on. So let me ask you now, as a candidate and prospective United States Congressman, should VA Secretary Eric Shinseki resign?
I think it's important that he does. He has been there for several years. There's obviously a leadership failure within the VA. There is a desperate need to upgrade the VA system to the 21st century. The backlog of disability claims, because they're still processing applications with paper. It just, from one issue to the next, obviously secret lists where we see veterans literally dying, waiting for care that they have fought so hard to earn and that they expected and relied upon. It is so incredibly important for the leadership to change over, not just for General Shinseki to step aside, but also for the people who are giving him some horrific advice, crafting a vision for the future of the VA. It's just we're going in the wrong direction as far as the VA goes.
Well, you see General Shinseki, and Lee, with your military background there in the airborne, it brings to mind this question. if he were still wearing a uniform and something like this came under his command, I don't believe he could hesitate a nanosecond, but his superior would have him cash in his chips. Yet, because he's made the transition to a civilian agency, still part of the government, he's able to express concern and, oh yeah, we'll clean it up. I guess what I'm saying is, why shouldn't battlefield criteria apply here when you're doing battles with a vast federal bureaucracy?
I think it is. I have tremendous amount of respect for General Shinseki time in the military, his service to our country. It's just such a huge responsibility that he has in charge of the VA right now. That despite the tremendous respect the entire country has, we just see growing calls and an urgent need for a new direction for the VA, because we have so many veterans from whether it's the World War II veterans who are still alive, relying on the VA, to new veterans coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and everyone in between. The responsibility of the VA system to be working as efficiently as possible is as important, if not more important, than ever before. And it's obvious that the current leadership structure at the VA is not going to put that agency on the best path forward for our nation's veterans, and our veterans deserve it. They need it.
Lee Zeldin, you currently serve in the New York State Senate. How do you think service in Washington will differ from your service right now in Albany? We got less than a minute here.
Well, there are so many important issues, challenges facing out my state, also our country, and we need more courage in government. If we want to make sure that we can control our nation's debt and our deficits, have responsible budgets, bring our entitlement programs to the current day, we need people with the will to make tough decisions, even if it will cost them votes. And I want to be part of that. We're part of that solution.
Lee Zeldin, it is interesting to watch your race. I can tell you, as an old political warhorse myself and former congressman, when the DCCC attacks you outrageously, they view you as a threat. We wish you well in your campaign, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Congressman.
So, what about the DCCC calling this Iraq veteran a coward? Why don't you tweet me your comments at Newsmax TV, #AmericasForward.